I'm back. You can't get rid of me that quickly. We have a bonus question of ask before I go on sabbatical. If your boss asks you to remove or tells you to remove a cross from your office, what do? I couldn't go on break without answering this one. So let's get to it. Okay, so we had someone write in and he said, how should I respond to my boss who's against the cross? This week I stood up for my faith at work. I decorated my office by hanging a small American flag colored cross on the wall. The next day, I came in and found the cross gone, and my boss demanded to speak with me after consulting HR. I was lectured for 10 minutes about how the cross offends people, and he said, it's a political statement. I work for a government agency, and he said, it's very offensive to some of us. I then asked if someone hung a rainbow pride flag in the office, would it be allowed? My boss responded saying, it's completely different, and it isn't the same thing. In other words, he's suggesting that it's okay to display the pride flag in my office and that having my cross is wrong. What would you suggest to handle this situation? Well, I wanted to answer this, even though I'm pretty much done with Ask here for a little while, because it's very timely. This is a really very situation that we're seeing a lot these days lately. And we can expect it to get worse. Jesus said the world hated me, so expect it to hate you. The darkness will only get worse, right? And the hatred for all things Jesus will increase. We know this. The Bible teaches us this. We have to remember our main identity as Christians is to be first members of God's kingdom. It's fine to be proud of your heritage, love your country, that kind of stuff, even with the many faults we have, and we have them. But Christ is first. So if living for Christ is first, and we should expect persecution, then we need to know how to handle situations like this when they come up, right? Like, where do we just kind of grin and bear it with, the love for our enemies, and where do we stand up for our faith? And I think it can be a very tricky topic when this real life kind of stuff, jobs, are on the line. Well, see, here's the way I see it. You have three possible very clear-cut options and two possible in-between steps that you could do as well. So let's start with your kind of clear-cut options that I think you have. First, I believe you can say nothing and deal with the trials of living with an anti-Christian boss and workplace. And at this point, he's not asking you to do something that is compromising to living out your faith, right? It's annoying, it's frustrating, but to me, that's the line. If your boss tells you to do something or not do something that is sinful or dishonoring to God, you have to say no, despite what consequences may come your way, right? So putting up or taking down a cross does not rise to that level, in my opinion. You could quietly obey, it's one solution, and talk to your coworkers about it. Not gossipy or anything, but just make sure it's known. You feel bad about it. You'd like to display that, but you won't because you're not looking to cause a lot of problems and angst in the workplace. It could be a peaceful opening to share your faith with your coworkers instead of possibly coming across as an angry or defiant Christian, right? The second clear-cut possibility is to peacefully disobey. Put the cross back up, force your boss's hand. Tell him you respectfully disagree, and he has to do what he has to do. Keep in mind, this could, on one hand, open up some great conversations with he and coworkers, but you do need to be ready for what the consequences might be, and that could be something to do with your job, maybe even losing it. The third clear-cut option for you is to look for another job. Don't quit, I don't think, until you have a place to go. It's not at that level. But once you do find another place to go, make sure you tell everyone why you're leaving. Peacefully and lovingly, don't get angry, but tell them. Now, what about the in-between steps you could take that you could try? One, you could ask to speak to your boss again, and instead of making it about the pride flag, ask him if a Muslim had a symbol of their faith, or a Jewish person, or maybe a Buddhist person, or for that matter, would they receive the same treatment? My guess is he'll probably say yes, because that is usually less likely in our culture. But hey, make him say it, right? For me, this is probably not a great option, because it sounds like he has already made his mind up. You could also talk to HR. Make the whole organization put it in writing that you can't put up a cross in your office space. He says he talked to HR, but you don't necessarily know that. And that's the recourse for you. HR might be like, we're not going to go down that road. But at least make them take a stand. Put it in writing And if they back up your boss, you are now left with the first set of options, with the possible addition of contacting a lawyer and seeing what your rights are. I probably wouldn't take it that far, but you certainly could, and it could be within your rights. Again, for all who are listening to this, we need to know that anger against God is the natural position of the fallen human heart. We should have great empathy for them. It's hard, but we should, because they're lost. And we pray, we learn as best we can to love as much as possible without ever standing down from living biblical truth ourselves. Hopefully this has helped. I pray that it'll work out and that Jesus is glorified. All right, this should be the last time you hear from me for a few months. May God bless you, and hopefully we'll see you this weekend, my last time with the church, at least till I'm back from my sabbatical. God bless.